FTX filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the United States. John Ray III, who's the same person who oversaw the Enron bankruptcy, is replacing Sam Bankman-Fried as CEO. Joining us now to discuss is Thomas Braziel, managing partner at distressed corporate specialist 507 Capital. Thomas, great to have you. So the FTX disaster is starting to look a lot like the Enron of crypto, but how is a non-U.S. entity filing for bankruptcy in the United States?
Happens all the time. Thanks for having me on. Happens all the time. Probably the best course of action for creditors, so I'm not sure why anyone would be upset by it. But creditors usually form shop, and Bahamian insolvency law is probably, I hate to say it, not equipped to handle such a large and complex bankruptcy with not only crypto, but clearly there's going to be lots of cause of action.
So what is Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and how is it different from other forms of bankruptcy filings?
That's a big topic, but the flexibility allowed to call those state professionals, the gentleman they brought in from Enron, or Enron liquidator, you want to call them, just gives them a lot of flexibility in terms of being able to prosecute claims. And it's just you have a whole system of state professionals, and you have judges that, frankly, handle large and complex cases. Not that they can't be filed in other places, but I don't know if you want to talk about this, but their petitions were effectively empty, which means this is a quickie or rushed filing that was not prepared. Generally, you have all these first day motions and declarations that are filed with the first day when you file your petition, your bankruptcy petition. None were filed with FTX, and that gives you a lot of color on the stress that was happening here.
So what happens to all the account holders? Where are they in the pecking order? And is there a difference for FTX US holders versus the regular FTX account holders? Given that it is in the Bahamas,
great question.
What exactly happens?
Are they separate boards? Are the companies separate? I don't know. You kind of seem to say there weren't, right? So I think these are going to be topics that will come up. I think it's very likely that the whole state is substantially consolidated. There weren't independent boards. They weren't operating independently. Clearly, there were issues around balance sheets. So there was, some finger hole plugging, and, it's going to be impossible to separate those things. So it's very likely that it's all pari passu. In terms of whether account holders are either non-estate property, meaning that it's their property held in trust, or if they're unsecured creditors, I think it's very likely to be unsecured creditors. It kind of throws a wrench in the case if they're not. And I don't know of any real secured claims in the case. I think, traditionally in crypto markets, the way you perfect security interest is just by holding the actual collateral. So it won't be on their balance sheet anyway. So I think it's likely to be a large pool of unsecured creditors, which are all the customer account holders.
Any timeline on when any retail or investors of FTX might recover funds?
So I was making a prediction on Twitter that I think it's going to be it'll be one of those .com bankruptcies that took 10, 15 years to work out, just because of the huge venture portfolio and all the litigation and causes of action. I'll stick by that, but that doesn't mean in the next couple of years you couldn't at least distribute whatever there is. I guess the FT over the weekend put out, a balance sheet that purportedly is the balance sheet, but we'll wait to see. But traditionally, you're talking 1 to 2 years, 16 months, 18 months, to start seeing distributions for large-scale Chapter 11s. So you could see dribs and drabs come out. But this bankruptcy itself will take many, many years. So,
do you think we'll still see an FTX at the end of all this, that it'll be restructured, or will it be liquidations?
I don't see any buyers. I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, I thought, crypto, we wanted decentralized finance. Somehow we ended up recreating a shadow finance system. So it's kind of bizarre. So it's probably good to see some weeding out of this and reminding us why we're in crypto. But no, I don't see any buyers showing up.